All right, salutations to everyone watching the show here. Thank you for tuning in to the Lunchbox. I'm Dave here with my co-host Anthony. And yes, it is another great day to be here amongst TSU's very own, running for state representative of District 146, an exceptional guest of ours, Mr. Roy Owens. Mr. Roy, how you doing today, sir?
Thank you for calling me in.
Yes, sir. Tell me about yourself.
Well, I'm a Houstonian, native Houstonian, and I've spent most of my life in the 146.
Right.
I went to school, elementary school. I was the first black to go to Amiel Elementary. Left there and went to Woodson.
Right.
Left Woodson, went to Madison.
Right.
Left Madison, went to TSU. Played in the Ocean Soul. I learned a lot here. This is my alma mater. This is where I grew up. I have a business here.
Right.
My wife in the 146. Raised my kids in the 146.
Right.
Successful business in the 146. I love the 146.
146. And that is a major number. That is the most important number that we want you guys to really remember, the 146. So we talk about that. Can you tell us some demographical things about the 146, some major landmarks, any other demographical information?
Well, I watched in Billy Astrodome, so I'm pretty sure everybody's familiar with that.
Mm-hmm.
And my district goes all the way back to Beltway 8,
okay,
over to MLK,
right,
over to North McGregor,
right,
South McGregor, and over to West Orm.
Right.
So that's the area. That's the 146.
Definitely. And this information, I guess we can really tailor this to our people here in Houston, in a multitude of neighborhoods. Let me get this right: Third Ward, Sunnyside, and South Park. Correct.
Right. You got the Plaza in there.
Right.
You got the Belford and Fondren area in there.
Right. Okay, so I guess you can start tell us why we are here today.
We're here today because I'm trying to get support.
Right.
As a write-in candidate for the 146.
Right.
I've been here a while. I think I can do the 146 justice.
Definitely.
Why do you think you're the best man for the job?
The time I've been here, I raised my family here. I've had a business here. I understand the demographics, the politics, the business, what it's lacking, what it needs, and I believe I'm the man that can go get it and bring it back home.
Okay. And you mentioned one thing. You talked about your business. How does your business background, how do you think that affect your success if you were to get the position as a 146?
I think it's going to come in handy,
right,
because my business was construction,
mm-hmm,
third generation construction.
Right.
General contractor. I've built a lot of homes in this 146.
Right.
Commercial buildings in the 146.
Gotcha.
And the contractor has to bring different disciplines together.
Okay.
And each discipline had their own attitude, the little quirks about them. But you still have to bring everybody together, make everybody happy,
mm-hmm,
and make a project work and make it and bring it to succession.
Definitely. And you're bringing that into the 146.
Correct.
State rep position.
Always 146.
Definitely. So, okay, we talked about business. Now, growing up in the 146, talk about. Matter of fact, let's move on to you being a veteran. I don't think we mentioned that.
Yes,
you were in the military.
A veteran. I went to the military.
Right.
I came to Ocean Soul and had a problem with my father one day. Got mad, went and joined the Marine Corps. Stayed there some years and came out. Now I'm a disabled veteran.
Right.
But still left once at 46 and came back to the 146.
Right. So, and what branch of the military?
Marine Corps.
The Marine Corps. So,
Yes,
talk about the Marine Corps. How has that experience impacted your life?
It's mostly discipline. And the way I look at things, the Marine Corps trained to look at things totally different.
Mm-hmm.
You're not in control of everything, but you can control everything.
Right.
So it teaches you an inner core of strength, and then people see that in you when you want them to see it, or if you don't want them to see it.
Right.
And the Marines teach you how to do that.
Okay.
Shout out to the Ocean Soul, man. That's the greatest band in college history. But so what do you think about the whole Colin Kaepernick situation? Like, you being a veteran, I know you might have a different perspective than the average viewer.
Well, yeah, he's a little different, and throughout my life, I've seen different people take different positions to prove their position.
Mm-hmm.
I'm pretty sure everybody here has thought that at one time or another that they weren't being taken care of, or that they had to do something special to get some attention, or that they wanted to lay down their soul or their life to try to make a point or make a statement.
Right.
So you got to give them credit for that. It's and so one of these days, if you haven't come across that, you're gonna come across it,
Right.
where something that important to you. is worth making a statement, whether you're going to lose or whether you're going to win.
And yeah, I respect that coming from a veteran because your opinion on those type of matters definitely holds more weight. And yeah, and I also think a lot of people are saying, you know, this is the greatest nation ever, and how could he do that? But this wouldn't be the greatest nation ever if he didn't have the right to express himself. You
And
know,
a lot of people went out there and sacrificed a lot. You can't understand what they've given up for someone to sit there and take out their time and give their opinion.
Yeah,
and have the freedom to be able to give their opinion.
Right, and I definitely think this guy can attest to, you know, you're talking about giving up your life and sacrificing and doing something special to, you know, get what you feel that you deserve. And you can expound on that if you want, but I'm one that can attest and vouch for him to say, you know, he's done those. You've done those type of things.
I've done those things.
Yeah.
I've placed my family's welfare on the line to try to make it better for my race,
right?
My people,
right?
And it's a sacrifice everybody doesn't make,
right?
But the ones who do make it, better watch out. They got something to say. They got something they want to do.
Right.
Real talk. So you mentioned that you're vying to be a write-in candidate, and so from my understanding, the precinct chairs voted between a TSU graduate, Sean Theory,
yes,
and also Erica Lee Carter, and they chose Sean Theory. So, like, the average listener might not understand the whole precinct chair system. So, would you mind explaining that to us? Like, how exactly does that work?
Every time you go to vote at a precinct, there's a precinct chair at that precinct, and they're in charge of making sure everything runs smoothly. Those precinct chairs may have people that work under them at that precinct, but they are responsible, and those chairs get together and they run the different precincts in a precinct.
Mm-hmm. And so, why were Sean Theory and Erica Lee Carter the only two who they were choosing between?
There were more there,
but
those people didn't have enough votes to have their name brought to the floor. So, and I think there was a man from Missouri City who he got one vote, and that's what turned the Theories into a victory, because he pledged his one vote to Theory to break the tie, and she became the 146th representative to replace a name on the ballot that was vacant by Boris Miles. And the reason that it was vacant because there was a death by L. Franco Lee, and everybody started moving up the ladder. I feel that the fact that the 13 votes for Theory is unfair to the 180,000 members of the 146. I think that 13 people can't decide our faith and which way we should go. I think the people should have a choice, and I want to be their choice to pick a new direction and a fair direction for the 180,000 people in 146.
You took the question right out of my mouth. The next question I was going to ask is, do you think that the precinct chair system is actually democratic? Like, does it actually give the people a voice? And I guess you say no. It doesn't.
Well, it is, the system does work because it's giving me the opportunity to tell you that we got a problem with it, and we need to write in my name. And the system is fair because each booth will have my name as a write-in candidate in every district of the early vote, and in every booth of the regular vote of the 146. And I think that's fair. I think that we as a people should be cautious of what's going on around us and be assertive to make sure that we have representation, proper representation. Just don't take what they give you. Just go out there and vote. Write in Roy Owens, you know.
Right. Yes, sir.
And speaking of voting, we really have to stress us doing that. And my thing, one of the things that give me pride behind voting is the fact that, you know, I know somebody really put their lives on the line and died for me to have that ability. So I take it upon myself, those who come before me, to take the time out and consciously choose, you know, who I'm voting for. And it just so happened that I live in the 146th district. You know what I'm saying? I came across Roy Owens, and even moreover, our district is a bit unique as far as poverty. What did you find out about that, Anthony?
So as far as poverty goes, 29% of the residents in District 146 live below the poverty line, compared to 17.7% for the state of Texas.
Right.
And that's what I got a problem with. That's why I want to represent the 146. Having come from a background of construction, being a carpenter, I trained a lot of people. And I think that there needs to be additional training or retraining of our people in the 146.
Mhm.
And I think the state should help us do that.
Right.
I don't feel that you people in the room here today were fortunate enough to go to college. And there's a lot of people that didn't have a chance to go to college. They weren't, for whatever reason, couldn't make it.
Mhm.
And it seems like there's some type of shadow cast on them because they weren't capable of going to college or completing college. And I think that there should have been some training out there for those type of people.
Right.
They have a lot of gifts, a lot of talent,
Right.
and I believe if they had talent, they'd have hope.
Right.
If they had hope, they'd have a job. If they have a job, they wouldn't be on the streets.
Right. Now I want the viewers to pay attention to the fact that this guy knows what's going on in the community because you work with the community
Every day.
and you talk every day. And you talk about poor people. You working with these poor
Every
people
day.
every day. And I just want to mention that and let that be known. So you have the know-how and you working with these people every day. And Booker T. Washington told us that vocational school is very important because everybody ain't going to college.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? So these skills. These skills, these talents that we have, we really need to focus on bringing them out. And you talking about carpentry.
I'm talking about any trade.
Right.
It can be merchants. It can be construction. It can be computers. It can be anything. Everybody needs to have a chance to be retrained or trained
Mhm.
in order to give them hope
Right.
and get them a job.
Okay. Sounds good. And we talk about that. If elected, what are the issues you intend to address in Austin?
Basically, the biggest issue I have is my people.
Mhm.
My riding by every day, seeing my people on the streets, on the corners, and not having any place to go or nothing to do. I'm gonna put all my time and effort into coming up with training or retraining
Mhm.
in order to give those people an opportunity to go out and do something.
Right. All right. Cool. Any more questions, Anthony?
Yeah, so you mentioned that you've been like a lifetime member of District 146, correct?
Yes.
And so, yeah, I just had some questions because I know that Al Edwards represented District 146 for a long time, and just recently Boris Miles replaced him. So I wanted to know what do you think is as far as like the difference between the leadership of Boris Miles and Al Edwards? Like, what do you like from them? What would you change, or maybe even what things have worked for them that you would adopt?
Well, you got to keep in mind, Al Edwards brought us through some hard times. It was we had affirmative action. He was there before affirmative action and through affirmative action, the end of affirmative action. So he's really had to be creative in trying to help us in the 146 get through this process. Now Boris is sitting there as a successful businessman, and he's trying to take us to another level. Now he's at the state senate level.
Mhm.
So we're looking forward to him being able to reach back and pull people up and teach us which way to go and how to go.
Right. Okay. Let me look at the time right quick. Okay. Perfect. So, lastly, I want you to kind of expound on what is going on in the 146 what has gone on in 146 that has kept you here so long. Coming through middle school, coming through high school, and then coming through college, and then raising your family, meeting your wife in the same area in the same district. Tell me about what is keeping you here. Is it the culture? Is it the people? What is it?
I do it for the hood, man.
All right.
I do it for the hood.
Right on.
Yeah, I keep 6 jobs here. I keep working here.
Right.
I just love the hood, man.
Yeah,
And
get tired.
I don't know what else. I wouldn't know what else to do.
Yeah.
It's my home. It's my family was raised here. My uncles, aunts, wife, mother,
Right.
father, everybody.
Okay.
We go back 3 generations that I know of
Right.
in the 146.
Wow. And that's amazing. And I said that would be the last thing, but I think we really need to let the viewers understand the process in writing in a candidate.
Now, what's going to happen when you go to the early vote or the voting day of November the 8th, you'll go in and you make sure that you let the attendant know that you want to do a write-in vote.
Mm-hmm.
And they'll make sure they push you in the right direction or expose you to the information that you need.
Right.
Whether you vote a straight ticket or you go through each phase of the ballot.
Right.
Once you get to 146, there's going to be her name there because she is the candidate to replace Boris Miles. And then right below it'll be write-in. The minute you click on write-in, a screen will pop up for you to spell in my name, Roy Owens.
Right.
And Roy Owens is already in the booth, so it's real easy to see right there because all the write-in names are there. So once you write in Roy Owens and click accept, then that's a cast a vote for Roy Owens and a vote for the 146.
Right. Definitely. Well, thank you for giving us that process, Mr. Owens. Thank you for coming on to the Lunchbox.
Okay.
Yeah, definitely.
Maybe I can come back.
Yeah, hey, we'd love for you to come by. Maybe next time we'll get you on the air. And so, any closing, anything else you want to say, Anthony Carr? Yes, sir.
Thanks for coming. We appreciate that, and we look forward to seeing you next time.
Thank you, Anthony.
There we go. And as you all know, again, it's very important that we get out. We take our time out and consciously make a decision on who do we want represent our people. And this district is significant because there's more of us here in this district than most other districts in the city of Houston. So, yeah, take your time out. Respect those who come before you. Mr. Owens definitely has a history of fighting for us, a history of helping us and hiring us, teaching us, and all those things count. We don't take those for granted. Thank you all for watching. It's The Lunchbox.